we just can't seem to have nice things. According to Merill Kelly, it sounds like he will not be ready for opening day, and we are discussing what the Diamondbacks are going to do without him. Damon, this is the wrong music. We need the lost music for this one. I am not happy. No SkeeYee today. We have more injuries to talk about. This is the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, and we are live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. But we're not happy. There you go. That's more appropriate. Thank you so much for that change. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as a man who is fed up with this. Welcome in to the PHNX Diamondback Show. The man that you are hearing on the other side of those ones and twos playing the correct music now is your dog, my dog, Damon Dog, aka Damon Fairall. I want to say bark bark to you, but no excitement today, no happiness. I don't care how you're doing today, Damon. I'm not happy because we got news just before we went live today about Merill Kelly. We have not received an update on his MRI as of yet. But the news, according to Steve Gilbert from MLB.com, is this. He spoke to Merill Kelly about 5 minutes prior to us starting the show and said, Merill Kelly says he doesn't think he'll be ready for Dbacks opening day, still trying to determine exactly what is causing the discomfort in back. And of course, we had a feeling that this was bad when we heard that while they were awaiting the MRI results, which were supposed to come in on Tuesday, that they had Merrill have a CT scan. Like, going and having a CT scan isn't something you just do for fun or just to make sure. And maybe they did, maybe they were doing it as a precaution, but it felt like additional imaging was required based on perhaps the results of the MRI not telling them what they needed to know. Maybe the MRI did not show anything, or maybe the MRI results just in general were inconclusive. But this sucks. There's no better way to put it. This sucks. The Diamondbacks bring Merill Kelly back. Merill Kelly is honored with the opening day start, something he deserved, and yet here he is now having back problems and potentially missing his opening day start. Again, I had a terrible feeling in my stomach about it. I compared it to Kevin Thomas about when, like, if you're a kid and you hear that your dad is staying at a hotel this weekend because he has work or something, and you're just like, something isn't sitting right with me. That's what the CT scan felt like, Damon. That's what the CT. I know.
That's heavy.
It's
Derek.
dark. It's heavy. All right.
Is there anything you maybe want to?
No, I don't want to go into
share with the class.
You are my therapist after the show. Not
True. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after the show.
Thank you. Well, let's just put it off for now. But overall, not great, right? And of course, this is something that did not take very long for this to happen. He was just named the opening day starter on February 14th, and it was his first scheduled. It was going to be his first career opening day. We will see if things trend in the right direction. Perhaps Merrill is able to get back on track. Perhaps the MRI or CT scan results today will tell them something, and we'll know if there's an injury that's going to sideline Merrill for a significant amount of time, or if this is just a temporary injury situation. Again, though, we really got to be thankful that the Diamondbacks were able to bring back Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen, for now, seems like he would most likely now get the start, perhaps, on opening day. He is starting today against the Dodgers, so he's going to make his spring debut today. It's his first start since signing that one-year contract on February 15th. But Nick Picoro said it would be one inning, and he said that Zach is behind the other starters. So if there is for some reason, Zach Gallen is not ready by opening day, the opening day starter could be Ryan Nelson. who is the true ace of this staff anyway, right?
You could make the argument that that's what who it should be.
I mean, you really could.
I don't think Ryan Nelson would tell you that because he has respect.
Never in a million years.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not great, Derek.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to compound it and get really doomsday-y, right? We still haven't heard an update on Corbin Caroll. We know that he does have superhuman recovery powers, mutant powers. But again, even though he has been progressing nicely with all of his other, all hitting all of the dates that he was supposed to hit so that he would be ready come opening day, we don't know. So without Corbin Caroll ready by opening day, without Lourdes Gurriel Jr. by opening day, they would be stretched pretty thin in the outfield in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. So what you're looking at that point is perhaps Damon's dream coming true, which is still a very strong possibility. We could have Ryan Waldschmidt in left field, Alek Thomas in center, and Jordan Lawler in right. Or perhaps if Waldschmidt isn't there, if they don't feel like he's ready to be added to the major league roster and be a part of this, be a part of this team come opening day, we could see an outfield that consists of Thomas in left or center, Lawler in left or center, and then Jorge Barosa perhaps out there. And then again, this is stretched pretty thin at this point. If you're talking about Waldschmidt being in there on the opening day lineup, even if it's temporary, awaiting the return of a Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and a Corbin Caroll, it does not bode well for at least the depth of this outfield. So there's that. And honestly, addressing Killer Rex's comment, I will glaze whoever I want to on this program. I will glaze whoever I want to. By the way, Torrey, looking spry, looking young, great. You got a nice tan. Looking as good as ever, by the way, Killer Rex. But
what is this, year 11?
Yeah.
Electric stuff.
Yeah. Longest tenured major sport coach. They don't include college coaches in this for some reason, which seems mean. But of the major sports, he's the second longest tenured, I think, to one of the Suns coaches back in the day. But overall, not great here for the Diamondbacks. More injuries, more lineup problems, and more waiting for results and waiting to hear when guys are going to come back from injury. And that sucks. But the Diamondbacks do take on the Los Angeles Dodgers today. Like I said, Zach Gallen will be on the mound for the Dbacks in that one. Perdomo, by the way, has hit safely in his first 3 games, currently hitting .500, going 4 for 8 with a walk. Nolan Arenado recorded a hit and an RBI for each of his first 2 games. And then comes the glazing of Jordan Lawler. Lawler has homered in back-to-back games to start spring. He's gone 4 for 6 with 2 homers, 2 RBI. I think a pair of doubles and a walk while making his first 2 starts in center field. And again, Lawler is playing in center field, so that's the reason why maybe we see Alek Thomas in left. We know Thomas has been playing left and Jordan Lawler in center field. If perhaps Corbin or Caroll isn't available, maybe we see Ryan Waldschmidt in left and, again, one of the other guys in right. But overall, Alek Thomas was not taking very many reps in right field, so I don't know if he'll even be an option to be over there. It could be Waldschmidt, but overall, Alek Thomas also has had a very hot start to spring. He has an extra base hit in each of his first 3 games. He's reached base 6 times. He's hitting .571. He went 4 for 7, 2 doubles, a triple, 3 RBI, and 2 walks. And then Ryan Waldschmidt also has 2 extra base hits and 3 RBI in his last 2 starts. So if those guys end up in the lineup on opening day, at least right now in this very small sample size to start spring training, they've been killing it. So hopefully they can continue that. But Diamondbacks did win yesterday. If you care about the results, you should care because they beat the Texas Rangers. So anytime we beat the Texas Rangers, whether it's an exhibition game, spring training, Arizona Complex League, I don't know, Winter League in Dominican, it's a good day. So Diamondbacks won 6-4. Their lineup had 4 different players collect multiple hits. Ketel Marte was 1 for 3. He hit his first home run of spring training. That was great to see. Alek Thomas 2 for 4 with a triple and an RBI. He recorded his first multi-hit game and hit his first triple. He has hit safely in his first 3 games. Carlos Santana looked better at the plate. He went 2 for 3, recorded his first multi-hit game as a D-back. Lou James Groover was DH. Ben McLaughlin also came in the game and had a pair of singles. Each of those guys had 2 hits. And then Michael Soroka made his Dbacks debut, allowing 1 run in 2 innings with 3 strikeouts. So solid day overall by the Diamondbacks. And again, you kind of feel a little bit better here about this Merill Kelly news, considering once again that the Diamondbacks were able to bring back Zach Gallen and add Michael Soroka. It's going to be an understated thing should Kelly miss time, how important it was that Soroka was able to be added as a 5th starter or 6th starter or whatever you want to say he is for $7.5 million to this team. I mean, again, it's not like they don't have some good young options that could potentially get the start if they needed it, if they had to dip into their depth from the minor league system. But Damon, you just don't feel great about doing that already. We're really going to dip into, a Cole Drake already this early like that again, that makes me feel sicker in my stomach than just the CT scan, results or news that he had to get a CT scan.
You're saying because Merrill's out?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, overall, like, I could not.
Wasn't the problem though that we had an extra guy? So now, I mean, now we're 1 injury away from needing to call upon that depth. But
I know,
as of right now, Soroka is in the starting rotation. Not that big of a deal.
Well, what I'm saying is that, like, again, we here we are going through it once again that we went through last year, where we started asking what the Diamondbacks are going to do with these 6 pitchers, who's going to end up in the bullpen, what are they going to do when Corbin Burnes returns, and they have 7 starting pitchers. Who knows if they even have 5 by the time Corbin Burnes returns.
Very true. I mean, it's a hit or miss thing. I feel like that's why you have starting pitching depth, though. So that's, I guess, credit to the Dbacks for having a viable 5th option that they can, put in place here of Merill Kelly.
Yeah, and again, Kelly, I think the bigger problem overall with Kelly's back injury is that they can't seem to pinpoint it and don't know what the injury actually is. Ernesto in the chat says doesn't sound too serious. I hope it's not too serious. And again, it's the fact that now Merrill is saying that he might miss opening day, might not be ready by then. Like, it's kind of the same thing with Zach. Zach is considered to be behind as far as the other starting pitchers go, and probably will be stretched out come opening day. But it's not guaranteed just because of him coming into camp like close to a week late and needing to kind of start later than everybody else. But I want the Diamondbacks at this point, if Merrill isn't ready, for them to go with whoever the best option is, whoever has looked the best in spring up to that point. Merill Kelly is great because he deserves it and has earned it. However, again, like, if Ryan Nelson goes out there and pitches extremely well, as he tends to do, I don't mind that, that recognition, that, the opening day start going to him and him deserving it, right? I don't think it should just initially be awarded kind of to Zach as like a backup, whatever. So anyway, I have my concerns. I don't love this. I don't love this for anything, right? Like, the outfield situation isn't great. The pitching situation isn't great, but luckily this offseason they were able to at least add enough depth that now, should these injuries cause these guys to miss, I don't want to say significant time, because you feel like Corbin's going to be back, even if he misses opening day, fairly soon into the month of March, probably not even into April. And same thing with Merill Kelly. And again, Ernesto is saying we're just old. We're all old. It happens. I have mid-back tightness every single day of my life. I don't get an MRI for it.
Not anymore, Derek.
Well, yeah, no,
you're a new
right
man.
I know it's not free Ad Friday, Damon, speaking of which, but I want to take this opportunity, since you brought it up, to tell everybody to go get themselves a new bed. I'm not giving an
Listen
ad.
to the man.
I'm not giving an ad for a company. I'm not telling you which place to go. I'm not telling you which brand to buy. I'm just saying, go buy yourself a new bed. It's life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing. I'm actually getting REM sleep now. REM sleep. I didn't know what that was like. I didn't know what it was like to actually sleep through the night uninterrupted. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
That's all also, the man's saying.
While we're on the topic of me being a dad and telling you what to do, go get your tires balanced and rotated and filled up. You're probably driving on low tire pressure, and you could be getting much better gas mileage than you're currently getting. Plus, with the temperature change coming up here and it getting hotter soon, Your tires will thank you if they're properly rotated, filled, and all that stuff. There's all. I didn't give out any specific free ads, right? But I'm sure a lot of companies out there appreciate what I just did on their behalf. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to do some more for a couple more companies, but these guys are partners and they kind of deserve this. So, but we're going to come back and we have more to talk about when it comes to fans being frustrated about where to watch spring training games. And I'm equally frustrated. We're going to talk about this on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show.
1 second, Derek. Would you mind talking to the people for?
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely can do that because again, I will sit here before we actually do the ads and I will give out more free ads because once again, Max Simpson is not on this continent, but he'll probably still get me mad at me. So let's go ahead and do some ads. We'll be right back. Well, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary for the Arizona Diamondbacks and injuries. And of course, it is never ordinary over at Bet365. Get down on the baseball action. You can get down on spring training action right now. There are options available to bet on spring training games over at Bet365. And of course, it makes games that might be meaningless to others more fun to us. Also, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. Download the Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 when you do. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to receive those $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Let me tell you, if you are ever in a serious accident and need representation, the husband and wife law team is here for you. Got to do your research after an accident, and sometimes that's very difficult to do. There's a lot going on in your life, but of course, the lawyer you hired does matter, and it matters because the husband and wife law team will represent you actually in court. They are certified specialists by the State Bar of Arizona, and in Arizona, the State Bar has certified less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation. So go with an attorney that will find and make time to meet directly with their client and actually go to trial for the client. They are trial lawyers. If you need a case, if a case needs to go to trial, they are ready to go to trial for you. They know their way around a courtroom and what needs to be done to prevail in front of a jury for their client. So of course, nobody can guarantee the outcome of a legal case. However, there are promises that they are proud to make to you and all their clients when it comes to your relationship as their client. You can cancel our fee agreement at any time for any reason. You will receive as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to do so. And you may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything you want to discuss. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them the mayor of PHNX sent you. Well, we have a couple of updates here on Merill Kelly's injury. According to Nick Piccoro, he said good news on Kelly is that tests haven't revealed any structural issues with his back. Bad news is that he doesn't think that his opening start is going to happen at this point. According to Bob Nightingale from USA Today, he will miss opening day with intercostal nerve irritation. I have no idea what that is. I hear the nerve and irritation part, and that makes sense to me. I don't know what intercostal means in relation to your body. I do in relation to the country, but anyway, that sucks. And again, it sounds like further confirmation that Merill Kelly isn't just saying that he doesn't feel like he will miss opening day. It sounds like he will, in fact, miss opening day. There's some frustration within the organization about that, I'm sure. Fans are also frustrated when it comes to watching spring training games so far in Cactus League and Grapefruit League play. There's a lot of people that have not been able to watch games in the same capacity that we thought we were going to. Now, I will say that the Diamondbacks do a good job, and in fact, there's a little confusion, I think, that needs to get cleared up when it comes to watching Diamondbacks games. Like, I will say personally, I hate the fact that so few have been actually televised in any way here locally. And I also hate the fact that apparently, even if you sign up for a subscription through Dbacks.tv, they are not, these games are not available, right? A lot of fans are frustrated with this, and not just people that are wondering why would you care about watching fake games, as he who shall not be named any further in this podcast says in our chat. Because people love baseball? I don't know. People love baseball. People love watching baseball. People love watching baseball even when it's inconsequential. And in this case, baseball is happening within the confines of stadiums in Arizona and Florida. And for some reason, so many games are not actually being streamed or televised in any way. You would think that as we moved into 2026 and technology and further into this world, that it would be easier to stream games, even if you're not going to give fans a television quality product. Most fans wouldn't mind if these games were streamed in the same way that I've seen spring training games streamed in the past, like on a single steady hard cam that's zoomed in from the outfield with very little changes to it, very little production overall. But fans overall feel like this has been something that that has been frustrating, especially for other fan bases that pay for subscriptions and their teams aren't streaming games hardly at all. Phillies fans apparently are pretty mad that the NBC Sports Philadelphia are covering home games and some road games aren't covering these spring training games. And Angels have skipped TV altogether with their spring training games. And again, there's a lot of easy suggestions when it comes to production. This is something that Damon and I would step in and say, it's far easier to say, throw a couple of people in there to produce these games, make it simple. It's not. There's a lot that goes into a broadcast, even if it's a very simple broadcast. All those graphics and stuff you see on screen, someone has to create those. Those don't get magically created by AI yet. They probably will next year. That's then. But for now, many MLB fans of spring training just have encountered missing or unavailable live feeds. I know on Dbacks.tv, when you go to their website, they say that you can stream select Dbacks spring training games free, no credit card required. Get started. When you click on the Get Started link, it just takes you to the lineup of free games or of games for the day, and you can watch the free game of the day, which is something that you're kind of always able to do over there at MLB.tv. And in this case, the Dodgers versus Diamondbacks, not free game of the day, does not have a local television broadcast, but it will be streamed on Dbacks' website, which is different than Dbacks.tv. And I do think that that's where some of the confusion comes in. I know I've been watching some of their spring training games on the website. That is something that at least we as Diamondbacks fans can do. I can't speak for other teams, but it does seem like a miss overall, right? Like there's something to be said about how excited people are when baseball returns. And I feel like sometimes it's how Major League Baseball treats this stuff that determines our level of interest in it. Yes, you're right. The games are inconsequential and do not matter at all. Does that mean that people don't want to watch them? No. Is it on a limited basis? Very. That's when it comes down to asking the question, is the juice worth the squeeze on this? However, I feel like if Major League Baseball did a better job of making this into a product of any kind, they could have advertisers want to be a part of it and they would have fans watching it. This isn't like the good old days of when I was a kid where you had to like play hooky and stay home to watch spring training baseball. We all have phones. We can all stream. We all stream in our offices and our cubes. We all do that, right? Like there's no reason to not have this available. And I do think that there is, again, just a missed opportunity. NFL, they are kings of making everything into an event that they do throughout the year. Look at our Cardinals guys. They're out at the Combine once again. The Combine, right? That's the Combine. Could you imagine if there was coverage of baseball teams looking at young players? I mean, I think we have a thing like that. Not a single member of media shows up to that, right? So baseball is just different, but you could blame a bit of this on baseball itself, MLB itself, and their lack of trying to make spring training into a viable product that you can make money off of. And, I don't know. I just think that I think it's a miss. I think there's definitely a miss here when it comes to not streaming, not having video streams available, not even having a lot of games be available. When you look through the live feed, there's so many games. Now, Major League Baseball's television rights and everything are all over the place when it comes to this anyway. So I'm sure that further complicates it. But there's also just been a lack of feeds and things working properly, right? That once again comes down to them not feeling like they need to put the production value perhaps into spring training games. There's been complaints about even when video being available, some fans describe soft picture quality or unstable streams, especially compared to the obvious, quality of the regular season broadcast. So I get that teams and networks limit spring training production to cut costs. And that's going to lead to fewer camera crew members or feeds or people available to produce these games. But am I wrong, Damon? Is it dumb that they don't make this into something? Like, isn't it about the league promoting something that can make it into something that then they can like make money off of and sell advertising space on and have every game streaming?
I mean, the NFL is king because they find a way to like profit off of every single thing throughout the sports calendar, right? Where the draft is the biggest thing in sports when it's going on. And it feels like baseball, they can't get to that level, but this should be used as a tool to hype people up for baseball season, no doubt about it. And right now it feels like it's a way to like kind of maybe make a lot of money off of people that go to spring training games, but not do anything from like a trying to hype up the fans type of perspective.
I mean, and that's a good point. Like spring training games cost a ton these days. A lot of people have complained about the price of tickets. It's the reason why people would prefer to stay home and stream these games. Obviously, a lot of people don't have the ability to leave work and go attend spring training games in the middle of the day. The Diamondbacks do not have many night games this year in Cactus League play. I think it's like every Friday game is at 6:10. But aside from that, every other game feels like it's at 1 o'clock and very difficult for people that have normal Monday through Friday jobs to make it out there. Again, and then the cost is high. So people, again, it could be extra incentive for you to sign up for a membership, for a subscription for their, television package for the year if the spring training games are all included, right? I don't know. I mean, there is forcing people into attending events. That's exactly what the WWE is trying to do with WrestleMania in Las Vegas. They're not allowing any place to have a watch party because ticket sales are doing so bad that they're trying to force people to go and watch the event. I don't think Major League Baseball is doing that with this. I think it's just a lack of belief that there's interest in your product. Maybe they have the data and information to back that up, and maybe that's the reason why they don't feel like they should waste their time on doing this. But I will say that overall, I just feel like baseball and all of their events that aren't regular season games or the playoffs tend to be poorly promoted, poorly discussed, and poorly presented overall. That don't make it something that they don't make it an event that you get excited about and want to view, want to I don't know, whatever. I just love spring training, and I would love to be able to watch it, not necessarily just on the Dbacks website. I would also love for fans everywhere to be able to watch their teams during this time of the year. You may ask why, right? And again, the results don't matter, but a lot of people do want to see these young prospects and such that get an opportunity in these games that they've never had a chance to see before. We hear a lot about these guys. We read a lot about them. I know for me personally, out at camp was the first time I saw several young prospects that we've talked about quite a bit in person with my own eyes for the first time. I think it was the first time I saw Yuman Lin in person. And that was special, spectacular, magical even. So, but again, Killer X, he believes that it's because the games don't mean anything. I disagree. I think people would love it if you did a better job of presenting it, and you could probably even sell it for a very nominal fee and make a lot of money off of a lot of fans if that's what you're interested in doing. Maybe Major League Baseball hates money. I don't know. J. Army Strong asked, does MLB know that fans would work a camera at a game for free if it meant being at the game for free? Probably not. They're probably not thinking of that aspect. I will say that I can stream a game from my phone if they would let me. They probably wouldn't let me, but I could stream a game from my phone if I sat close enough with my tripod and could stick the lens through the netting in the proper angle. And that's just my phone. So again, technology is in place for them to not necessarily, I don't know, you don't need the big television cameras. You don't need all of that. Just get yourself some, like the cameras we use here in the studio, set them up, have someone that knows what they're doing, get baseball on streaming services in some way. But I don't know. Deborah says spring training is something that out-of-town people enjoy going to, especially ones from cold areas. And Ryan says preseason football gets played on the NFL Network or local channels. And nobody cares about those games either, right? But we still watch them. We still watch the Hall of Fame game and all of that stuff. So I don't know. But all right, I'm going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, I have more complaining to do. Apparently, we get shorter as the day progresses, which is new information to me that I learned thanks to the ABS challenge system. We're going to talk about this on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, I am a huge fan of Pure Edibles, and you should be too. Pure Edibles was founded right here in Arizona and is available in 130 dispensaries statewide. Pure gummies are not covered in sugar like all the other gummies, and Pure has far more than just gummies. They have a wide range of candies, including Kicks, which are their version of Starburst, Chews, and hard candies as well. They're also adding new candies all the time. They also have a wide variety of delicious flavors, as well as effects that are clearly listed on each tin. And those effects can help you dramatically with all sorts of things in life, including improving your mood, perhaps pain management, or getting a good night's sleep. So look to Pure Edible for all of those options. You also have a new collaboration with Mother Road Brewing Company that's probably not new, but still new in my heart because I love Mother Road Brewing Company so much, and their Tower Station IPA, which you can now get in a delicious all-in-one THC device. It captures the crisp citrus and piney hops of Arizona's favorite IPA, but in just a good tasting high whenever you want it. So if you're in Arizona, swing by select local dispensaries and grab your Tower Station all-in-one from Noble Road and find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And everyone needs a checking account. You know that, I know that. We all have to have it. In this day and age, you're basically off the grid without one. But you also might have a checking account that doesn't give back to you and doesn't have built-in benefits the same way the My Style checking account from Mountain America Credit Union has. You can get the account with built-in benefits that give back to you and save you on things like restaurant deals that have mobile phone protection available through your My Style checking account, telehealth access, identity protection, and so much more. You can get discounts on travel, you can get discounts on events, and you can get discounts on loan rates, which is huge right now. So make My Style for your lifestyle. Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply today. Insured by NCUA. Membership is required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. Damon, did you know that we shrink over the course of a day? That we as human beings are taller in the morning than we are before we lay our head on the pillow at nighttime?
I did not.
Apparently that's the case. I have no idea how much, and neither does the Brewers assistant GM, Will Hudgens, when he was discussing this with MLB.com. But the reason why that's important is that MLB was mandating that these baseball players get measured for the ABS challenge system early in the morning to ensure that they were at their, I guess, premium height. I guess gravity over the course of a day really weighs us down, along with bills and mortgages and traffic and other things that just shrink us to being a smaller person than we were at the start of the day. But under the ABS challenge system, each hitter's strike zone is individualized using biomechanical measurements. I'm sure Brian Kaplan loves that. That are taken in spring. Major League Baseball cannot actually implement the ABS challenge system without knowing every hitter's precise height right down to the millimeter. So players were scanned and measured on spring when they were here in spring training. If players have not reported yet, there's actually someone designated on each team who will have to scan them based on very specific guidelines in order to know exactly how tall each player is. Teams are mandated by MLB to take the measurements between 10 a.m. and noon local time on their appointed day, because once again, According to Brewers assistant GM Will Hudgens, he was told people shrink over the course of a day. He said, "I'm not entirely sure how much, but I've been told that enough times to believe that it is scientifically true." So the reason why that is important is because each player's data goes into the ABS challenge system, the overall Hawkeye tracking system that keeps track of all of this data and also is responsible for showing on the screen whether a ball was a strike or a ball. The width is set, right? There's no doubt about the width. It's the width of the plate, and that is something of home plate. That's something that is easily set. But the problem is each player's height being factored in. So since they can't use a standard metric for each player because they're different heights and have different batting stances, they have to use a universal system involving the player's height. And in this case, when they set the strike zone from top to bottom, this required testing, it required discussions and meetings. MLB studied the problem for multiple years, according to this report, including trials in the Arizona Fall League and the minor leagues before setting on the top end of the strike zone being at 53.3% of the hitter's height and the bottom of the strike zone being set to 27%. I don't know why it wasn't 27.7 or 27.5 and why the other one's 53.5, but hey, science, right? So according to this, and we do have this picture here, the plate width 17 inches across. That one's easy. They also take in the dynamic for strike zone depth. So something that Ryan Thompson had once told us that bothered him about this was the idea that this ABS strike zone was going to be like two-dimensional instead of it covering the entire home plate, which is a column, if you think about it in that way. Like the ball can cross this little home plate that looks like a little house wherever. And if it gets any part of the strike zone, then technically that's supposed to be a strike, right? So it can catch the back end, it can catch the front end. If it crosses any part of the plate, that's supposed to be a strike. So depth and width, that's easy enough. But the top and bottom thing, that is much more difficult when it comes to this information. So the zone is locked in digitally and does not adjust dynamically pitch to pitch. So it's not like these measurements are being taken before games or during at-bats or based on how they're standing this particular day. This data is just based overall on the players' height measurements that they took at the beginning of the season in spring training. So again, instead of an umpire judging it based on a hitter's stance live, which is the reason why a lot of people like the strike zone to be determined by an umpire, this is going to be a computer judging based on these preset measurements. So who's complaining? Short guys, basically. Short guys are the ones that are complaining. Alek Thomas was the first one on the Diamondbacks to voice some displeasure because he didn't feel like it properly took into consideration a crouching batting stance and specifically on shorter players, right? And part of the crouching batting stance that some players have adapted and made their own stance is trying to shrink the strike zone, trying to make the strike zone smaller and harder for a pitcher to hit, right? But hitters who have exaggerated crouches or hitters who sink deep into their stance, or honestly, even pitchers that, or excuse me, these are all hitters, not pitchers, hitters that significantly change their posture when they have two strikes can all be impacted by this kind of preset measurement for the strike zone. And that's the reason why certain guys have voiced their displeasure for it. They're arguing that the ABS strike zone doesn't reflect how they actually hit or what the actual strike zone is in that moment. So if a player is measured standing tall during spring training, like they are asking them to do for these scans, but then hits from a deep crouch, the digital strike zone is going to obviously sit higher than their actual bat path overall. So pitches that look high based on their stance may still be strikes when they go to challenge those strikes. And again, hitters that have these type of stances, I've complained already about this being the thing that they feel like that if they're called out on pitches by the strike zone, that they can't physically get to those pitches based on how high they are and how they should be out of the strike zone and how they always conventionally were. This could be a tactic that the opposing team uses against shorter batters or batters that have one of these exaggerated crouching batting stances or that sink deep into their stance, right? Because you know that a ball you throw that's high, that the umpire calls a ball, has a good chance that it's going to still be called a strike by the ABS challenge system. It'll be interesting to see how that, how that impacts the game going forward, and if we see kind of unfair calls. So far, people have enjoyed the ABS challenge system and feel like it's a great addition to the game. And again, the shorter hitters, the Jose Altuves, maybe guys that have a low crouch like Alex Bregman, these are guys that could potentially have a problem with this. But another guy who isn't necessarily short but does have a lower base when he hits, Corbin Caroll. So perhaps Corbin Caroll, our beloved Corby, is impacted by this with the ABS system because of the way his particular stance is versus his natural height and the way that he would be standing straight up. Again, guys who try to essentially weaponize the strike zone, right? They try to shrink it by using their posture. It used to be like your elbows to your belt buckle or your belt buckle to the strike zone, so you can kind of squat down. And again, they feel like that competitive edge from their stance is going to disappear here with the ABS. MLB, meanwhile, says that that's not the case, that they say that this is centered around consistency and that umpires already call strike zones based on a player's rule book zone, not how their exaggerated stance is. So they're alleging that if a player does have an exaggerated stance, that the umpires are still calling a bigger zone for that particular player anyway. They're saying the ABS zone is actually closer to the rule book definition than many human umpires call the zone, and that a standardized measurement prevents hitters from manipulating the zone with these kind of extreme stances. So I guess, it's part of the game that they're trying to remove, even though it's a part of the game that has been there forever. Damon, you play baseball. What was your stance like, and how would you feel about this? I know you're not like a shorter guy, but I feel like
I'm pretty short.
I feel like you're the kind of guy that would try to manipulate the strike zone, though, to shrink it.
This is going to shock people. I had a pretty good idea of what I thought was the strike zone, and I didn't particularly agree with umpires when they started trying to expand that out.
I can't imagine you being argumentative or even a problem for anybody. No.
Yeah. So I would throw some tood, Derek. I'd throw some tood for sure. I would have preferred a system like this, honestly, knowing that, or at least thinking that they're going to be consistent with what they're calling typically, right? And so, especially at a youth level, but that's a little bit different. Obviously, the umpires at a major league level are supposed to be a lot better and typically are. I mean, it's going to be an imperfect system as they try to weed things out. There's no question about that. And it's going to probably upset a lot of people. Umpires upset a lot of people as is. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how it's going to play out, but all in all, I think it'll work itself out.
This is one of those things where I feel like, once again, if we were talking about this simply being a thing that buzzed in the umpire's ear, that even if everything was the same, right? Even if they had to take these measurements, and even if the strike zone was still being classified under these exact same qualifications, I feel like if it was like just in the umpire's ear telling him if it was a ball or a strike, it would just be far more effective than this. But again, this is why some players and a decent amount of players, I don't know if it's a majority, but I would say that a lot of players I talked to weren't excited about the ABS, and that includes hitters. Despite the fact that they feel like it can get calls right, they don't love this stuff. They like the human element of the game when it comes to an umpire being back there. It's the reason why they are not in favor of robot umpires either. The essential balance, the best balance for them would be this kind of system where there is ways to check the umpire. There is ways to ensure, especially in a big moment in a big game, that they don't blow a call that completely changes the outcome of that game. But they still have the human element of an umpire behind the plate heavily involved. I don't know. But again, this is the reason why. When you're talking about a computer system, it has to have ones and zeros put into it. It has to know the information. It has to be able to know what the strike zone is going to be. AI will change that eventually very soon, and we'll all be out of jobs, and AI will be umpiring baseball games. But until that is perfected, for now, you want the ability for them to be able to adapt to the size of a batter. And this just feels a little important. Obviously, they're saying they are adapting to the size of the batter by doing these measurements, but it all just feels silly. Plus, if we're shorter at the end of the day, aren't there a lot of night games? Why aren't we also taking measurements at night to make that height ensure that that's the right height? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't really have all that many opinions on the ABS challenge system. If you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not, I don't really care. Everyone's playing by the same rules at the end of the day.
Right. And essentially that's what they're trying to say, is that some of these batters that have these crouching batting stances, they're breaking the rules or trying to bend them, at least. Maybe not breaking them, but bending them as much as possible. That's what a lot of things in baseball, that's a lot of strategy in baseball is about, not crossing the line, but coming right up to the edge of it. How close to the line can we get when it comes to this stuff, right? So they're trying to correct that they feel is a unfair advantage for hitters over pitchers. But I just think that again, there's ways, if what the ultimate goal was to get the calls right, there's still better ways to do it. I also say I like the fun of the strike zone thing being up on the screen and the reaction from fans, and especially again in big games and big stadiums when this call goes the way of the home team, people are going to lose their minds, and it's going to be amazing. So anyway, also, thank you guys so much for being diehards. If you're a diehard already, we talked about the combine and how NFL does a great job at making that a big deal. And if you love football, you can get all of your combine coverage. You can get all of your NFL off-season coverage right here at PHNX. And you can do it for just $36 for your first year. You can save 55% off our normal price for NFL combine coverage all week long. You get access to our draft guide with scouting reports, prospect breakdowns, and analysis. You also get a free shirt of your choice from our store and premium football coverage with those guys, Bo and Johnny, all year long, plus the rest of the crew. We have some amazing people covering the Cardinals and football here at All City, including our guy, Alex D'Agostino. So visit gophnx.com/intro for more information today. All right, Damon, I think that it's time. We put this off for long enough, but I think it's once again time to see if I am in fact a baseball savant. Something we know I'm not, but we'll let's see what we got.
We've used a lot of the Dbacks this offseason, Derek. So we're kind of on our last legs here.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's a little bit unfair to start doing like other teams, because
that's a big pool.
You're not Jesse Friedman. He might be able to pull some.
I am definitely not Jesse Friedman.
Not in that regard. I think that dude goes to bed at night, falls asleep with Baseball Savant open on his screen.
Did you say you think he does?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in his room.
I've seen it with my own eyes. I've stayed in a hotel room with him.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't.
I mean, he slept. He turned over on his side and made sure the computer was also on its side. So as he was on his side, it was straight up for him.
Nice.
He has a very particular way of angling.
Yeah, he's professional about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so this is we're doing a little bit easier ones today. One of them might be kind of difficult. We'll see. But are you ready?
I'm ready. So let's test if I am a baseball savant. All right. What do we got here? We got good strikeout rate, good strikeout percentage, good doesn't strike out. Weird. Chase percentage is high, whiff percentage is low, walk percentage is low. Let's see. xwOBA is 315. What is his expected batting average? Is 256? Is that what it is? I'm sorry, it's a little far for me.
Yes.
My eyes are bad. I'm old. I've said this before. All right. This is a Diamondback. Can I let me see? Can I ask a hint? Is this a newer Diamondback?
It's a current Diamondback.
It's a current Diamondback? Is it a newer Diamondback?
No, I wouldn't say it's a newer Diamondback.
Okay. Interesting. Some of those numbers aren't great. Sprint speed isn't.
For me, that's always the
Great.
biggest indicator of who this player is.
The sprint speed?
Is the sprint speed. I always start trying to think of who would be about that fast on the Diamondbacks.
See, and that's hard because the Diamondbacks have a lot of fast players. My mind immediately goes to Pavin Smith, but there's no way because we've used Pavin Smith's sprint speed wouldn't be that high.
No, it's lower than that by a lot.
All right, let me think. It's not. You said someone that's on the team. It's not Cattell. It's not Jerry. This, I don't know. I feel like Tim Tawa would be faster than this, but maybe I'm mistaken. Is it Tim Tawa? No. Tim Tawa would be faster than this.
Not Tim Tawa.
All right. Guess one. Give me like 3 guesses on this one.
That would be kind of a newer Diamondback, wouldn't you say? Tim Tawa? He only played last season on the team.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's probably.
This guy's been on the team for a little bit.
All right. All right. So really, at the end of the day, there's only a couple of guys I think would have average speed like this. And I will guess that this is Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
It is Lourdes.
Boom.
Let me ask you a question, Derek. You got the roster pulled up on your end?
I do. I do have the roster.
I don't know if that's fair.
To have the roster
I think there's an asterisk next to your guesses.
I mean, I could have lied and said I don't have the roster pulled up.
I mean, that would have been crazy to lie to me and all of your closest friends and family here in the chat.
You're right. That would have been probably pretty mean, and I mean deceitful. But I just have the 40 man up. The 40 man. That's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys.
You could have gotten to Lourdes without the roster.
You're probably right. All right, what else?
You cover this team daily, Derek. You know what you're doing.
All right, I'm back to my Notion page. Let's go next. Oh my God. This is only one of 2 guys, right?
I mean, up to you, man.
This has to be Corbin.
It is.
This has to be Corbin.
That's like I'm saying. We're on our last legs here as a are you a baseball savant of the 2026 off season.
Yeah.
You get the most obvious players of all time out there. Corbin Caroll, 100th percentile base running.
I mean, that's
what he does.
Probably underestimated.
All right, this is the most difficult one of the entire bunch.
Okay, let's go.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm dialed in now. Oh, God. All right, so not qualified. Someone that didn't make a lot of starts.
Mm-hmm.
Fastball velo, not good. This is Paul Sewald.
It is.
It's Paul Sewald.
It is. That was the one thing that was going to give it away.
Oh, the fastball velo. That was 90.4 miles per hour.
That was the one thing that was going to give it away.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, you look at the other expected stats there.
No, that's a great point.
Not that bad.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Expected ERA 3.71, expected batting average 210, average exit velo 88.6. Those are all above average. Whiff percentage above average, K percentage above average, walk percentage above average, hard hit percentage above average.
It's so interesting that with all of that, with his average exit velo and everything being like that he still doesn't get a high ground ball percentage.
He's a fly ball pitcher.
And guys barrel him up all the time.
Yeah. He's a fly ball pitcher, man. And he doesn't throw hard at all. But
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I looked at this and I was like, maybe there's a tiny bit of sliver of hope for Paul Sewald.
No, I don't. I mean, there is. And I think that's the thing is that baseball, it's so easy to write guys off when they are trending downward, mostly because historically that doesn't correct itself very often, right? Like you don't see guys get worse and then get better and then get worse again and then get better. But every once in a while, it's about what their role is on the team and what they're going to do. Paul Sewald was not asked to close. I think that was with the Cleveland Guardians, right? So perhaps the Diamondbacks not asking him to close could be the key to him still being a arm in the bullpen that can help this team win baseball games. I don't see a reason why any player should be completely disregarded as like unusable until you get to that point where they can't perform any longer, right? So just goes to show that even though we have a bad memory of him, those numbers don't indicate that he was very bad, at least in 2025. So a lot of finger crossing though when it comes to so many guys on this team, mostly when it comes to those arms in the bullpen and even some of the arms in the starting rotation. However, the Diamondbacks have made changes, so this isn't just expecting guys to change without aid, without something helping them change. Maybe Jeremy Bleich being a part of this team now, being part of this organization, can help to get the most out of these pitchers, and perhaps they can end up not finishing in the bottom 5 for bullpen and starting pitching ERA. But again,
laughable.
We will see what happens when it comes to that, and we'll see what happens with Paul Sewald as the spring training here advances. We got Diamondbacks playing Dodgers today out there at Salt River Fields. I need to get out of here because I want to go watch some baseball live in person. So make sure to do that if you can. If not, check out the Dbacks website. I believe on dbacks.com. That game will be streaming. Our guy Mike Farron is going to be on the call there with Jake Lamb, I believe, also back with this organization and doing some commentating work. So make sure to check that out if you can't be at that game live in person. Meanwhile, you can follow us on Twitter and social media. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And as always, we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time today. Appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you back here at noon tomorrow. Until then, hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. Hope you get to watch some baseball. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't have another starting pitcher going down with an injury.
We all silly like the mayor.